always amazed when women are willing to take a whole day or a weekend to go away. Now, of course, I spoke with one of you just a few minutes ago who said, well, actually, we're happy if we just get to go to the dentist and sit in a dentist chair.
I think the event has been outstanding.
Oh, wonderful. It's very encouraging to hear all these words from Sharon.
The words just are basically kind of describe what it's doing for me being here.
Oh my, a wonderful teaching. I really appreciate Sharon centering everything in God's Word, where I'm particularly touched by the Old Testament passages and how she brings them in to affect us.
And to all the others in his house. At that hour of the night, the jailer took them and washed their wounds. And don't miss this. Paul and Silas were walking by faith. They were walking in obedience. They did the hard thing. They sang at midnight, but their bodies were still broken. They were still in pain. They had wounds that needed to be cleaned. God's grace is not an anesthetic. You need to write that down, because someday you're going to need it. God's grace is not an anesthetic. And yet what we see here is when we are able to sing at midnight because of grace, that doesn't mean the pain is going to be lessened or go away. It means God is doing something beyond us. But his grace is not an anesthetic. That's a very freeing truth for broken people. Because we judge ourselves by the way we feel.
The one thing Sharon really pointed out is that the mother can make or break her family, or, she is the center. She is the source. She is the strength.
I'm a grandmother, and you all know that. I've already told you that. But when you're a grandmother, now I know that lots of women are young grandmothers, and I was pretty young when I first became a grandmother. I'm going to try to be like this grandmother who was with her little 6-year-old grandson, and she was wearing a tank top, which she hadn't worn around him before, apparently, and he comes running in and he says, "Granny, somebody let the air out of your arms." So today we have grandmothers who are quite different from the grandmothers that I grew up with. And I sometimes resent that grandmothers of today have to worry about taking care of their bodies and exercising and trying to look young when it's impossible. And, all those things, there's a whole different role. My grandmothers, they seemed to earn the right to be old. And when they were old, they looked old. And they didn't care. It was okay. They were honored. They wore the flowered dresses and the clunky shoes and the rolled down nylons. Yes. And heavy, really heavy. And their hair had the little kinky perms. Yes. I mean, come on. Why can't I be like that? I would like to do that.
I mean, Sharon, she's just so real. You feel like, you can put yourself in her shoes, and she does that for us, and it's just, you can just feel the sincerity. She's just very genuine, and you just learn so much from God's Word from her.
This is something that could be stretched out over several weeks, doing a lesson a week or whatever. It wouldn't have to be a crash course all on a Saturday.
We are a very small church. We do have difficulty putting a retreat together. And what I like about this concept, especially since she has other materials, so many times a retreat leaves you hanging. You have this wonderful mountaintop experience, and you have nothing to go home to. So then the leaders are required to find their own materials. Sharon's already got a book that we can follow up again with. So I just think that that's invaluable. And the fact that she's got it all set up the way she is, and she's so open, whether she's talking to us here or into a camera, you feel like you're with her.
If you look at the life of Jesus, and you look at him as he's preparing for the cross, and look at the scriptures that he depended on, Jesus focused on what he knew was true, not on the questions. He focused on what he knew was true. He prepared with Psalm 22 and Psalm 23. Up on the cross, he quoted from Psalm 22. He focused on what he knew was true. And at some point in our journeys, that's what we have to do. At some point, we have to say, it doesn't matter what I don't understand anymore. What do I know is true? Christ died for me. God kept his promises. And that's how I need to walk by faith now.